Hello, my dear students. Welcome once again to our visual class. In the previous video lesson, I have given you the introduction of the story, The Diary of a Young Girl, Anne Frank. The name of the young girl was Anne Frank, and even the writer was Anne Frank. It was a diary written by Anne Frank, right? So today, in our video lesson, we would be discussing the main contents of her diary. But before we look into the main contents of her diary, I want you to refer to page 155. You have to grab your textbook, okay? Because as in the slide, you can see the World War II and the Holocaust I have taken from your textbook, because without knowing the background, these are very important backgrounds which you have to know before we understand the diary of Anne Frank. Okay, so I want you to look at the textbook, because from here, from the slide, it would not be possible for you to read and understand. So as I go on, let us try to have let us have a glimpse, okay, at World War II, and let us try to know the reason or causes for World War II. What were the reasons that gave birth to World War II? Okay, so let's start. World War II. The Second World War was the most destructive war in history. More than 50 nations took part in the war. On one side were the Axis power, which include Germany, Italy, and Japan. And on the other side were the Allies, that is, Britain, France, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the Soviet Union, China, and the United States of America. So the war was fought. On one side it was the Axis powers, and on one side it was the Allies. Okay. Now it is said that World War II was caused by the Treaty of Versailles. Now what is the Treaty of Versailles? Now Treaty of Versailles, it was a peace treaty. Okay, it was a peace treaty that was signed in order to promote peace and to prevent war. Now this treaty, the Treaty of Versailles was signed in the year 1919 at the end of the First World War. Now in that Treaty of Versailles, there was a condition. Okay, a condition was given to Germany. Okay, in that treaty, when the treaty was signed, there was a condition that Germany had to pay for war damages. Okay, and that Germany could have only a small army. That means Germany could raise an army, but not in great numbers, but a small army. And in that army, there would be no air force, no submarines or tanks. So Germany felt that it was unfair to them. Okay, Germany felt that it was unfair to them. This treaty was not fair. It was unfair. So this was the main reason that gave birth to World War II. All right, keep in mind. Now, Germany suffered many economic hardship after World War I. Now, Adolf Hitler, the leader of the Nazi Party, remember, he was able to convince the German people. Okay, he tried to convince the German people, saying that if the people gave him power, then he would improve the conditions in Germany, and also he would restore the country's strength and dignity that was lost during the war. He became the leader of the National Socialist Party, or Nazi Party, which came to power in 1933. Hitler built up the German army and their weapons. On 1st September 1939, Germany invaded Poland. When that happened, Britain and France declared war on Germany because they wanted to help Poland, but it was too late. They could not do anything. By the summer of 1940, Germany conquered Holland, Belgium, France, Denmark, and Norway. So, these were the countries that were conquered by Germany. In July 1940, see students, this chapter, no, it's a history, okay? We are going to learn history. It is a story which is very interesting, but at the same time, you would have to remember the dates, okay? The dates of the happenings. So, in July 1940, German planes started pumping British coastal towns, defenses, and ships in the English Channel in order to gain power or control. Okay, they were German wanted to have power over the skies in the south of England. So here, what happened in mid-September 1940? After many battles, after fighting many battles, Germany postponed. Okay, Germany was about to go ahead with land invention. They were about to invade the other countries again through land, okay? But Germany postponed their plan. Now, what was the reason? The reason was that the Royal Air Force, British Royal Air Force, okay? The British Royal Air Force had effectively fought off. That means Germany had an air force, okay? And its air force was named Luftwaffe. Now here the pronunciation is very difficult, but I would like you to practice this pronunciation. It will be pronounced as German Luftwaffe, okay? So why did the German postpone their plan of invading through a land invasion? Because the Royal Air Force had effectively fought off the German Luftwaffe. That means the Air Force of German Air Force was completely destroyed by the British Air Force. Commonwealth nations such as Canada and Australia helped Britain. In 1941, Germany attacked the Soviet Union, that is Russia, and America too, who redoubled its effort after Japan attacked the American naval base at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. Now see, we even have a movie called Pearl Harbor, right? Yes, so that this movie was based on this World War II. Okay, so what happened when Germany attacked the Soviet Union, Russia, and America too? Now Russia and America, with its effort, what happened? It attacked when Japan attacked. Now Japan and Germany, they were on one side, right? So Japan attacked the American naval base at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. Now by 1943, the Allies. Now who were the Allies? Remember, who were the Allies? The other side of the party, right, against Germany. So the Allies were winning. In 1943, the Allies party were winning, okay? In 1944, a huge Allied army crossed from Britain to free France. So a huge army was given, okay, to free France because France was already conquered by Germany. Then the Allied armies invaded Germany. So the Allied armies was able to invade Germany. That means a mixture. The Allied armies means not only from America but mixture of Britain, Australia, all Canada, New Zealand. Okay, this Russia, all this together, the huge army were like this huge army of the Allied forces were able to invade Germany. By May 1945, the war in Europe was over. So by 1945, the war in Europe was over. Elsewhere, the war went on till August 1945. There was fierce fighting in the Pacific Islands and fierce naval battles at sea. Finally, the Allies dropped atomic bombs on two Japanese cities named Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The damage was so terrible that Japan surrendered and the World War II came to an end, right? So here, this is the story of the beginning of World War II and the end of World War II. And this is a very important part which which the students must know, okay, before we study, before we learn the story of Anne Frank. So in the next video lesson, I would be continuing with the next one, that is in page number 156, the Holocaust. Okay, so we would try to understand what is this Holocaust.